Yeah, and for the next hour, we're going to meet three really interesting people working with sustainable communities and lifestyles. And in 1899, an industrial area was built in Tallinn for heavy steel production for like trains and tractors and so on. And the area has been closed for a long time for the public until now. When the area has been open for people again. And a lot of cultural events and theaters and exhibitions and children's activities are arranged in this area. So now the old factory area it's blooming. And Indrek Hääl, welcome, you can come.
Thank you.
Give him a hand. You're the managing director. You don't have to hide. You can come here. Now we're two planets on stage again. Yeah, you are the manager director for this area, and the company is called Krulli.
Krulli,
yeah, I
exactly.
love that name.
Yeah,
but it's from the area's founder. He was called Franz Krull.
Exactly.
Yes. And now you're going to tell us about this fantastic transformational journey.
I will, and thank you for inviting me here. Really a pleasure to be here. I'm not a designer, I'm not an architect, I'm an entrepreneur. By education, I'm a construction engineer. I've been working in real estate for over 20 years. So my last maybe 10 years has been a passion really to create environments and really environments where people feel good to be at. So in Workland, Workland is a chain of co-working offices and across 4 countries, and we really try to give a design-based environment for people to work really in inspirational ways, and this has led me to also to lead the Krulli development, which is a quarter. It's called Krulli Quarter. It's in Tallinn. It's in northern part of Tallinn, and it's a very lively and developing and one of the most expensive places now to live in Tallinn. And what we are creating is a basic environment where we say is that it's the city for people, right? So it's an approach that we have taken. It's lately our approach has been really also highlighted in Design magazine just in October, which we are really proud of, and it shows that it's a place for really meant for transformation. And something where we really want to create a new quarter where if you look at from the, let's say, bird's eye perspective, it's quite a big area. It's 10 hectares, and it has a building right of over 100,000 square meters. So it's a 50-50 area, so we call it 50 commercial, 50 residential. So 50 commercial means businesses and services, and 50 for apartments. It's the beauty. What we try to do is that it will be a car-free area, at least on the surface. Of course, you can't have car-free in a real meaning of it, because people come by cars and they need access. But we want it to be for pedestrians, and I will walk you through this mindset a bit during my presentation. It's an old production, so we have a production area, so we have heritage protected buildings. It's not a Soviet era brick buildings, but it's really a kind of a Tsar area limestone buildings, a beautiful production architecture which was done over 120, 150 years ago. As you can see from the photos, so what we want to do here is go from the old industrial heritage area into something that we do now is called urban activities. So we looked at that an area that has been closed for public for over 125 years deserves to be open for public. So as a developer, maybe it would have been easier for us to keep it closed and continue the constructions. But what we did, we spent a lot of money to clean the place, to get rid of all the machinery which was there. Historically, everything was built there, from lampposts to trains, heavy machinery parts. It's a metal production, basically. It's not a place for people to be at. And so we opened it for instance, for past 2 years, the Tallinn Design Festival, and people from the Design Festival are also here. They have held quite a massive event here, thousands of people have visited it, and we've had concerts, we had different type of culture events, we have a community garden, we have place for people to come. So it's now basically a place just to come and hang out, although there's no business, there's nothing yet to do, but we wanted people just to get used to the area and see that it's a huge quarter where they live, always been closed, so come and just enjoy, spend time there. We have a lot of historical shells, which we have to keep, and we are really happy that they are there because they are part of the beautiful future architecture. Of course, everything will get, in our mind, adaptive reuse. So there's a lot of reuse story also, which I will walk you through when we do that. The vision, of course, is that it's a neighborhood of different ideas. And we will have in the center of this a factory of ideas in our mind. Still, we see that the whole detailed planning of this place is called a distillery. So in our minds, it still is a part of the historical site, because in 1899, the first things that started producing here was this vodka distillery equipment. This is how all the money was made to create this fantastic factory. What it will be in the future, we will have a kindergarten, we will have innovation hub, different parks, offices, a lot of greenery. We have to make sure that there will be plenty of access for not only by cars, but for pedestrians, for coming by train, public transportation, cycling. So basically, it will be otherwise in the, let's say, 10 or 20 years a problem with this entire neighborhood. If you build it for cars, for easy access, then people already will be stuck with the cars going in and out. So we have also in that sense an invention to do how to get people thinking differently and come to this quarter, maybe we even having in mind that they don't need so much their own cars. So we built it on 4 strategies. If you look at this is the map of the entire quarter. So one thing is that we want different meeting places to happen. So there is a main spine which goes through the quarter, which you can see. It's a 400-meter long street, 22 meters wide. So on one hand, you could see it's a big empty space. So in our minds, it's a spine where a lot of things will start happening, should start happening, and will start happening. So different parks around it, a mixed environment, collection of different typologies, scales, architectural characters, different buildings, different usages for the buildings, so that people actually feel good when walking there. The height of the buildings is around 22 meters, so you won't be intimidated when walking actually there. So it's also having in mind how to create an environment where people actually feel safe, like being in the city, but feeling like being in a village. A lot of green connections, so surrounding parks, streets, but how to combine everything also inside with different alleys, pocket parks, and adaptive reuse, which I will walk you through, because there's a lot of materials, a lot of playgrounds. So we want it to be a potential car-free every day, because you have a lot of accesses. So we have mapped ourselves that how we can say that it's a car-free. How can we really afford it to be a car-free? So we try to show to people that what are the alternatives. We have 4 mobility principles, right? So when designing the quarter, it's like designing a product. So you have to think of various things how people will start using this product, right? So there won't be any through-going traffic, right? So we want to have all the cars going down in the edges, and we have some existing buildings, large production halls, which will be used for temporary parking until the underground is built. the city tries to impose us a lot of parking regulations, and we hope that within the 10 years when this quarter is ready, they will be a bit minimized so that we don't need so much underground construction anymore. Therefore, we have these temporary solutions. We have fast track connections, transit routes, different plazas, and different mobility points, because you still need different accesses. You need transportations, couriers, packages, everything. And then there is, the main thing is about pedestrians. So a lot of pedestrian networks, places where you can walk through, go by. So the places where you don't have a conflict between people and cars, for instance. So you feel safe, you feel that this is the environment where you can walk without someone telling you what you should or should not do. There are different scales, right? So if you look at the whole quarter, we looked at the different scales of places, starting from the extra large. Someone here liked this XLLMMS, so we are also into the same figures, learning the same way, which is the universal language. I guess doesn't matter if it's about clothes or about quarter, it's the same. That the spine is the extra large place where we have to design something. The plazas are the large, where we feel that these are the activity and meeting places. Different disruptor alleys, the medium size, and smaller edge zones, so which are kind of stitched together quite nicely on the larger scale. And eventually there has to be a diversity, right? So if you look at the whole thing, so you have to have different things to do so that you come there, there's enough to do both in winter and summer, having in mind the seasons. Where we live in Estonia, we have 4 seasons. We have to see where inside and outside play and work together. So there you have the landscape design that comes into the mind. So if you look at how from existing green pockets you go into a larger, greener network, and you design everything into a landscape sketch. So this is, I guess, no one back then imagined that a production quarter can be as green as it will come in the future. But we really want to put a lot of green so that there is you can really sense the landscaping. So who is behind all this? And because it's a lot of things to do, and when designing, so we took Danish architect studio Kobe, and Kobe, they are, I guess, one of the best ones also in Copenhagen, designing the playgrounds for public areas, and they have helped us really to do all this concept, the concept for people, right? So we like technology companies, we like unicorns. So the founders of this quarter and the financiers are technology people who have made their wealth with technology companies, but now we want to build it as a city for people. And although we have the spine, then every spine needs a heart. So in the heart of Krulli there will be the technology center eventually, something that where the new companies can grow and new ideas can grow. And as you can see, when we took it over, it was all the industry, so very dirty. And what we want to do is to create it into an innovation center. We want to take the old structures, as you can see, the old structures, the old crane bridges, and reuse them into the future construction, so that everything will be reused and designed as it should have been, and it should look industrial, but yet again a feeling of a new inside. And this is where the good design and engineering comes into hand. If you look at how to do this contrast between new and old and new, so you have to also carefully see the materials that you're using and how you can do that. So because eventually this whole idea is to connect these people and connect the people and ideas. So even if you have the whole quarter designed in a way that it's a place where people can meet, and it's a place where people actually can find new nuances, they can find new functions. And I will quickly also spend a bit of, maybe 1 minute on this sustainable part, because no one in Estonia has really created such a material library that we're trying to do with Tallinn Technical University. So we're trying to map everything that is in the quarter, again, from XL to XS. All the structural columns, as you can see, the trusses, the shells, the bridges, railroads, anything that you have as a historical part, to put it into a material catalog, so that when you're developing, you always know you can take some parts of it and put it so that there is a new Krulli, with having in mind this old vision and old history, that it always starts playing its new history between old and new. We have a lot of playful industrial and urban details that we want to use as part of the furniture. So not to design always something new and not to waste what we have, but reuse something what is there, the old towers, the cranes, the floor materials, the metal floor materials, anything you can imagine being part of our kind of architectural toolbox to take. And for instance, this is one of the main buildings, so everything you see here red is reused and everything white is new, so more or less 50-50. And this entire quarter we have this mindset that we want to reuse 50% of the materials and go into very detailed while doing that. It will be a 15-minute city, which is a very popular saying today, but we say that it's a 50-minute city where you have 10 minutes spare time. So eventually it should be a very convenient place, and a place where you feel like I started, like you are in a city surrounding, you are in a huge quarter, but with the low buildings, with a designed approach, and with a lot of greeneries, you feel like you are in a village and enjoying the events, and also living in a quite peaceful environment with small and private buildings designed alongside the bigger roads and the bigger quarter, which used to be basically only for construction and production. So what we are doing is building a city for people.
Thank you very much, Indrek, and I already signed up for a trip. You promised me a tour, right? So yeah. If somebody else want to go, you make sure you make it.
I mean, there's a lot more interesting to talk, but since you gave me 17 minutes, I just tried to do as fast as I could. So sorry for rushing, but that's how it goes.
It was very, very interesting to hear that. And you will stay here for the whole day, so you can grab him during the coffee break. So big thank you.
Thank you.